Hello, this is about converting the data that we see in analytics tables into more easily understood tables in Word documents, which we then convert to PDFs for the client to see. In this example, I'm doing a report for broad view vehicle awnings, and I've come to the stage in the report where I'd like to show them the most popular pages viewed in their website in the period during which I'm conducting the review. So I first of all go to, in Analytics, Site Content, All Pages, and I see that there are 105 pages viewed in total, but the table only shows me the top 10. If I were to download or export this table by going up to here, I would only get the top 10. But because I want to download all of the data and show more than that, I changed the rows from the default 10 to something over 100, 250. And I can now export that data. I do have the alternative of taking a screenshot to show that data to the client. But in my opinion, there are far too many columns and they're all far too small and a bit difficult to read when you take a screenshot and paste it into Word. As an example, I'll show you that this is what this table would look like in Word. And there it is, the top 20 pages viewed. You really can't see much detail in there, and you do have a lot of information that you don't need, because page views and unique page views don't make that much difference. Average time we do want to know. Entrances we don't want to know, because earlier in the report I did a table of landing pages, which are in fact entrances, so we've already covered that topic. So if we just take a screenshot and show the data as it is, it really is far too complicated in my view. So what I'm going to do is export this table, clicking on export, and I'm going to export as a CSV. Now the reason for that is, although XLX is much more flexible, if you download this sort of data from analytics in Excel format, what I've found is that it doesn't preserve correctly one particular column, and that's the average time on page that you see there. It really does corrupt them terribly. However, if you download as CSV, it doesn't do that. So I've done that, and here is one I did earlier. It's a CSV file. And if I was going to keep the changes on this, I would convert it to an XLS file by saving as XLS, but I'm not going to, because I might want to use the data again in its raw state. So first of all, I like to see things a little bit more clearly, so we'll zoom up to 125%. And we'll pull that one out just to make sure that we're looking at the right thing. We can take off these columns or rows because we don't need them. So edit, delete. I don't really want unique page views. They don't add much to the story, so we'll edit and delete those. As I said, the entrances have already been dealt with in the section on landing pages, so I'll edit, delete those. I'm not that interested in page value at all, but I'm only going to copy the first 20 pages. So if I do that, highlight them like that, go down to the first, hang on, where was I? Start at number 6, let's take it down to 27, to allow for 1. I could copy and paste and start my table with that, but what I would like to do is be able to show a summary and the averages as analytics shows them. This is this top column here of total page views, average time on page for the whole site, and the average bounce rate. And that doesn't actually show in this Excel document unless I force it to. So I'll click down here and delete everything else that I don't want temporarily. It's just over 100, we know that. So we go back up to there and we edit, delete. So I don't need that, and so I'll delete that just to make life clearer for us all. Edit, delete. Now go back to the top. The data I want is here. Page, page views, bounce rate, and percentage exit. Highlight it all. Copy, which I suppose, what do we do? Command C. Go into Word and paste. Like that, which is Command V. And there we have it. And we can't see it all because it's all over the place. So what we have to do is convert this table to text so that we can start editing it. And we do that first of all by highlighting it down to there. And then going across to highlight all of them. Let's go down one. Ooh, we need to go down one more. And this can be tricky. That's a better picture. I do not know why some of it is not showing up. We know that there's page views, time on page, bounce rate, exit. So what we should be able to do now is, having highlighted it, go up to here, table, convert table to text. Bang, and there it goes. Okay, it's no longer a table. So what we've now got to do is try and make that into some sort of manageable format, and what I do there is, first of all, I'll format the font that I want, which is Command D in a Mac, and I want Arial, and I want size 10, which is a nice size for a table, and now it's still all scrunched up, so while it's still highlighted, I can format tabs and actually clear all the tabs that are already there. Okay, now they've all gone. And something else that I want to do now, because it takes up valuable space, we're going to have to change all of these lines into tabulated columns, so we need all the space we can get. It's a chore, I know, but I'm going to go down and remove elements that might take up important space when formatting, which we may encounter with this table, we may not. Find out in a minute. Right, so let's get rid of that first. Now, what we're looking for is the longest word, or the longest page title, to see whether if we put tabs into that, it's going to be a readable document, i.e. are the tabs far enough apart? Is the data far enough apart? And it looks as if it is. So we'll try to take this and yeah, maybe a long one further down, but let's do the top ones first. Make a cup of tea while I'm doing this. Or in fact, practice for yourselves now. Right. So we're beginning to look like a legible and manageable table. When I mention space, when you're actually doing the formatting, on some tables it's quite important to make the maximum use of space, because in Google Analytics, on things like device usage and acquisition sources, channels, it will give you the figure, these top figures there, and then it will give you a percentage of the total. When you download the tables or export them, those titles, those percentages are lost. They're not downloaded. So what you have to do is you leave enough space between the first column and the second column if you want to show the percentages by inserting them for usually the top values, or in the case of acquisition channels, all of the 4 main values. Right. And these are what I will call, they're not all totals, some of them are averages. Right, let's adjust those a bit. Right, so we've got to tell, now do we have enough space to do another one? Not really, it doesn't make that much difference because the salient points will come out. Now we need to know, what we have to do is we need page views. What we've got to do, easiest way of doing this is average time on page, get rid of that, rate, get the word rate. So what we have here now is, we've got the page, yeah, right, page, put it back in now by typing it, views, average time on page, bounce, rate. Might as well close that a little bit and cheat by using the space bar. Percentage exit, which means the number of people who left from that page. And going on from an argument that I've been following earlier in this report, what I'm looking for is data that wasn't in the previous column reports, and one is obviously the contact page. There's very few people will land on that. How many people are going to the contact page? And later on I look at how many people actually got to the page that says thank you for your contact, which is an important one. But I'm following the track of what I call branded searches, transit custom van warnings, and there's a Vauxhall Vivaro one there, Ford Transit one there. Ford Transit Custom is by far the most highest sought or searched van awning terms, and what I'm currently analysing are these two elements here, 71% and 63% for bounce rate and exit rate respectively, where the site average is 56 and 43. We may be looking at a way of doing something about that. Finally, to make it look pretty, on this one I can highlight it all and then insert a text box. Ooh. Sometimes the formatting is lost at this stage, so you're going to rejig it a little bit. This isn't. And then if I double click on this, oh no, I should be able to format it. Format the shape. I want to put a nice line around it. Now there it is. On this version of Word, it's already red. I want a thin line, which is 28, quarter of a point back, and there you are. That's the, in my view, nice way of doing it, and that's the one I did yesterday to show that it's not a fluke. I can't remember how much time it took to do that, but I think it looks a darn sight better than that. And when you put it up on a screen, if you are making a presentation to a client, it's a lot easier to read. The blue is far too pale. So there we are, from Google Analytics table to a much clearer table in Microsoft Word. Thank you for your attention. Bye for now.